everyone, and welcome to our Week 4 edition of Friday Football Fever. We got another jam-packed show for you. LBJ in search of their first win. Plus, the Hawks are going to stay perfect taking on the Mustangs. Also, our latest player and first band of the week all coming up. But first, the hottest team in the Gateway City might not be one you'd immediately think of, but it's Cigaroas, the only squad with 2 wins entering the night from Laredo. The Toros welcoming Crystal City to town for a battle. Cigaroa looking for their 3rd win in a row. That would be the first time since 2010 for the Cigaroa. Opening drive of the game, the visitors trying to put the punt on the field. Instead, it's going to slide right off the foot. Raul Quiones there to pounce on it. Great field position for Cigaroa. Well, they would make it pay off. A few plays into the drive. Remember this guy? Jacob Lozano keeping himself. No one going to lay a hand on him. Just like that, it's 7-0 Toros. We're going to hear from this young man a little bit later on tonight. Well, after the defense holds off the Javelinas again, this time it's Edwin Reyes on the carry. He's going to pick up a big chunk of yards, cutting through that Javelina defense and moving the sticks. A couple plays later, yeah, who else? Lozano. I'm going to start calling him Jacob the Butcher Lozano because he's slicing and dicing up the fences, just hacking away at them, in for another score, make it 14-0 Cigaroa. The Toros had a chance to add more, but they would get stopped at the goal line. Crystal City putting together a drive. Mario Carrillo and Juan Gamez, though, tag teaming on the sack here, taking down the Hogs quarterback. But penalties would keep this drive alive. And a few snaps later, the Javelina is going to take to the air. Carlos Flores going to connect with Adrian Gutierrez with just seconds to go in the half. Just going to cut the lead in half. That makes it 14-7 at the break. After that quick scare there, the Toros, they do what they've done all year long. They come out of the second half and dominate. Lozano scores 2 more touchdowns on the way to a 34-7 victory. Their 3rd in a row with district play looming next week. Over to the sack, the Wolves going to battle with the Uvalde Coyotes. LBJ still looking for that elusive first win of the season. 36-8 play looming next week. Early in the second half, Uvalde looks to have a completion, but Abed Ponce and Sebastian Palacios laying the smackdown. That's going to jar the ball loose, force a 4th down and a punt. How would the LBJ offense respond? They're going to try to get loose here up the sidelines, but the ball knocked away by the Coyotes. This one, a defensive struggle here in the second half. That would force a punt for LBJ and disaster. The ball mishandled off the snap. It's a fumble. The Coyotes recover with prime field position down by 5. After the ensuing possession, they're going to make it pay off. 1st and goal, just inches away from the score. The Coyotes don't get in much, but they get in just enough. 19-14 the score at this point. Uvalde going to end up going for 2. This one going to be right in the hands of Josh Castro. The ball ends up being batted up and around, almost snagged, but ends up falling harmlessly to the ground. The LBJ defense would buckle down from there and keep the Coyotes off the scoreboard. The offense, they come up with a clutch late drive to take the lead as the Wolves hold on for a 20-19 victory. They get ready to head to Eagle Pass next Friday night. We're just getting started here on Friday Football Fever. When we get back, it's time to head out of town. Hebronville in a battle with Brownsville St. Joseph's, plus the rest of the out-of-town scores. It's all coming up next. We've got more fever for you, and it's time to head over to Hebronville. The Longhorns taking the turf. The guys to our east playing host to St. Joseph's out of Brownsville. The Longhorns 2-0 entering the night, looking to stay perfect, taking on the Bloodhounds. Early in the first quarter, the home team on the move, the handoff to Josh Alvarez. With blockers out in front of him, they're not going to stop this freight train. 7-0 Longhorns on the board early. The ensuing possession, the Bloodhounds, they're going to have the ball, and they're not going to go quietly into the night. They come out firing, maybe catching Hebronville a little flat-footed here, going to the sideline, and then nobody's got the angle. The Bloodhounds in for 6, just like that. Brownsville St. Joseph's can tie it up. They're going to try to go for 2, not settling for 1 here. They're running right up the middle, though, and Paul Bias, the first to meet the carrier, then a host of Longhorns coming through with the stop, a little dog pile there. We don't show many kicks off, so you know something about to go down. The Bloodhounds with the onside kick, and they recover. The offense going right back out on the field. St. Joe's going to try to look to the air again. This time, they're not going to fool Hebronville a second time. Benny Cadena playing a little center field, going to come up with the interception. We're headed the other way. The offense, though, would stall out. They have to punt. Only see Brownsville score, and they would take the lead. Since then, the Longhorns have rebounded at last check. It's a home team up 48-27 late in the 3rd quarter. I'm still looking on a final for that one. Hopefully, we'll have it for you before we go off the air. Checking the other out-of-town scores, a defensive slugfest in Zapata with the Mustangs running on the high-flying Hawks to the tune of a 13-0 final. That's the first loss for Zapata, while Nixon improves to 2-2. The Longhorns, they go to Bernie and battle with the Chargers. This one was 21-14 at the half, but after the break, it's all home team. United falls 42-14. The news not any better for the Panthers. They're up in San Antonio tonight. At last check, they trail Central Catholic 32-14. It's the Panthers and Longhorns getting ready to face off to open up district play next week. And finally, the rough season continues for the Tigers as Martin goes down to La Grula and fall 37-12. Next up for the Tigers, a trip north to San Antonio Southside on Friday for the start of district play. We're not done on the Fever just yet. When we get back, time to hand out some hardware as we honor a young man that has been tearing up the turf at Shirley Field this season. Plus our first band of the week. That's all coming up next. It's that time of the week where we get to jump back and honor the best of the best from last weekend for our latest player of the week. We go to Figueroa, where the Toros do-it-all player Jacob Lozano stood out above the rest. The quarterback slash receiver slash running back slash defensive back slash kicker had his best game of the season in the Toros' victory over LBJ last Friday night. Lozano went for 270 yards on the ground to go with 4 more touchdowns. He's been a man on a mission his senior year. His coach calls him the guy that makes the engine go, while Lozano stays humble, instead looking to praise his teammates for putting him in a position to succeed.
Those 4 touchdowns weren't just me, my team, especially my O-line. I wouldn't have done 4 touchdowns without my O-line. And my receivers too, holding blocks down the field.
We have a lot of guys that are stepping up in different roles, and allowing him to see different parts of the field and display, his talents. You got something special when your junior and seniors are like brothers. And so, he sets the tone, but they all kind of feed off each other. So we're just real excited about that.
Congrats to Lozano and the rest of the Toros on this award. Tune in every Friday night to see where we go with our next player of the week. Congrats to them. Picking up a win after being honored with the player of the week. That doesn't happen often around here lately. Well, for the first time this season, we get the chance to honor some of the students that help make the football atmosphere so much fun with our band of the week. On this Friday night, we get to honor the Alexander Outdoor Performance Ensemble with over 225 students taking part in the show. Their performance this year titled Are We Alone? And is led by drum majors Angela Liu, Raul Salceda, and Shaylee Anya. Because of the pandemic, it's been 2 years since most of our bands competed, but the Bulldogs, they're off to the Valley tomorrow to try and defend their crown at the Bands of America South Texas Regional as they kick off competition season. Good luck to them and the rest of the bands headed down there. Speaking of the Bulldogs, the football fun got started last night as the Bulldogs found their first win of the season. They did so in dominating fashion. Alexander ran around, over, and through the Rio Grande City defense, and then started to unleash the air attack on the way to a 57-0 win. Javi Jimenez got the scoring started with a touchdown scamper on the Bulldogs' second snap of the game, and they never looked back from there. The sophomore run for 46 yards, passed for another 235 while adding 2 more scores through the air. Dale Rodriguez chipped in with 126 yards on the ground to go with a trio of short touchdown runs. On the defensive side of the ball, the Bulldogs never gave the Rattlers a chance to breathe, stifling the rushing attack of the Rattlers. That win gives Alexander a little positive momentum going to district play next week. They're going to take on Nixon. Before we leave, it's time to announce our King of the Mountain Player of the Week. And once again, it's Zapata's Alan Pina that brings home the most votes as he pinballs himself into the end zone back in week 1. This vote was very close, over 500 ballots cast. The difference coming down to just 11 votes. But in the end, it's the Hawks that come through for their guy. Next up, he will move on to take on the best play from this weekend in another head-to-head battle where you will decide who the winner is. That's going to just about wrap it up for us here. One more time, Figueroa, they pick up another win, topping Crystal City in impressive fashion. LBJ, they pick up a 20-19 win as well. They get their first victory of the season, so congrats to the Toros and Wolves. Nixon also getting a win. Hebbronville looking like they are up late as well. That's going to do it for us here on Friday Football Fever. We'll see you back here next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.